This is an Audio Wool original.
This episode of Frightday is brought to you by Spring-Heeled Jack Coffee. You need great coffee. Jack delivers. Visit springheeledjack.coffee. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/Frightday.
Hey, guess what? Home Alone 4, or actually Home Sweet Home Alone, actually wasn't bad. It was kind of funny. Had a good
really?
cast, yeah. I mean, 3 was so terrible that I...
Well, yeah, 3.
Do you know that Scarlett Jo was in 3?
Really?
Yeah.
See, I saw that in the theater. I didn't, I was young, so.
Yeah, isn't it weird when you go back and watch movies with people in them that are like, how did I not know that?
Kristen Stewart in Panic Room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was the girl. There you go.
Wow.
It is Frightday. I'm your host, Byron. Maybe the only thing worse than being called a pedophile is being called a hedge fund manager.
It's a good joke, Byron. That's a good joke.
Well, Jeffrey Epstein just so happened to say that and be both. His death in 2019 and the contentious circumstances surrounding it did nothing more than fuel an already horrendous mystery. But what happens when you live too long within a conspiracy? We'll talk about that. Odd New York apartment floor plans and an equally confusing Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine? Reviewing Dasha Nekrasova's The Scary of 61st. I'm joined tonight by Kelly.
You know what I've started to do? Fern Gully has an actor, one of the characters in Fern Gully looks a little bit like Ghislaine, and that's how I remember.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sam can't make it because he's playing computer games in bed.
Yeah, some weird porny Sims thing, apparently.
You're completely out of the loop of Japanese sexual dating simulating video
Why,
games.
yes, I am, Byron.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's the holiday season, Kelly. How you holding up? Camp Friday's over. Thanks so much, everyone who showed up.
Okay, but it's really weird because it isn't over.
Because it's tomorrow, 2 days from now.
It's 2 days from now.
It was great.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with y'all.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Is fun.
Will be?
Time block theory.
We
talked about that, remember? I mean, so technically, I guess it has already happened.
For folks who weren't there, the next couple weeks, we're going to be airing some of the segments from it. So you'll get a sneak peek, and maybe you'll join us next time, because there will be a next time, and it won't be pushed back 4 times.
No, it won't be.
Promise you that.
It won't be. But you know, the joy of it getting pushed back this much is people get to / already got to enjoy my spirit of the holiday season.
Yeah, it was interesting.
In a more 3-dimensional way.
The timing, we got to really, bring the spooky to the holiday season. And I like that.
I got to bring my holiday season to the Frightday.
All right, we've got a regular Jack Skellington situation here, folks.
Yeah.
I was going to say the siren, but let's ring the jingle bells, I guess.
Jingle jangle.
Okay. Wow, we got some mail here. It's basically a Christmas present here.
The best. It was amazing.
What do we got? From a listener of ours, JoJo.
In Ireland? Northern Ireland.
What's our P.O. box, by the way?
P.O. Box 372, Lola, Montana 59847. We've got a sequin Nessie, like one of those, like the sequin pillows that you can, like, very stress relievingly.
Oh, incredible. That's a Thai beanie baby.
Yeah. But it's like...
Oh my God, it's full of snacks.
So many snacks. We got alien snacks.
Oh, Space Riders beef chips. Not sure what that's about. Monster Munch pickled onion corn snacks. Oh, there's a note here.
Dear Byron, Kelly Captain.
Oh, come on.
And the ever elusive Sam. Just a few treats from across the pond as a thank you for all your hard work. You have built a wonderful community that I am delighted to be a part of. After all the horror of recent Cereal Corner, I thought you could use some treats.
I do appreciate that.
Though I can't vouch for the beef flavor.
Oh.
Can't wait for Camp Frightday.
I hope you had a great time, JoJo.
JoJo, you're the bee's knees.
McKoy's chips, salt and vinegar. McKoy, that's me.
That is you.
Spelled differently. Oh, another Thai beanie baby.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to commandeer these and use them as Christmas presents for Creech and Puck.
Oh, these are peppermint. I thought it was green tea. Never mind, JoJo. I take it all back. A lot of
peppermint.
chocolate bars from like Nestle from across the pond is way better, right?
Oh yeah, it's like really shitty chocolate
Yeah,
here,
wow.
but it's like top-notch chocolate over there.
So I guess we should. I almost set a box down on your dog, Agent Cooper.
I mean, Cooper is, very much chilling as part of the podcast today.
So if people did want to send something to the mailbag, what would it be one more time?
P.O. Box 372, Lolo, Montana 59847.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Oh, this is so great.
So, opening presents is fun.
So flashy.
But Kelly, it's time to get to work.
Yep. This is actually more entertaining than some of the movies.
Do you want to put one away?
I don't want to put any of them away. I want to play with my Nessie doll. This is lowering my blood pressure. I can feel it.
Oh, here's a good one. These DVD copies of Johnny English aren't going to put themselves away.
Okay, I love Mr. Bean, so fire with the Johnny English. I will sit over here and watch Mr. Bean.
It's time for staff picks.
They say so much, but they never tell you if it's any good.
Werewolf movie with E.T.'s mom in it.
The Howling, horror straight ahead.
That Nessie is just glorious.
So, Kelly,
Yeah.
couldn't think of anything that I'd seen. I've talked about Queen of Earth by Alex Ross Perry. That's like the most direct connection. He's got a very similar cinematic eye to Dasha Nekrasova. Mm-hmm. So something gritty and New Yorky is kind of where I went, but I've talked about Maniac. I don't know if I've talked about Chud, but Chud is just a little bit too wacky.
Do you know Chud was referenced by Sam when we went to the Holiday Symphony concert on campus on Friday?
That was sounds
because
fun.
when we came out, the Grizzly game, the big football game in town
sure.
was going on at the same time. He was like, "Kids, hurry. Get in the car. The Chuds are about to come out."
That's pretty fun. Very nice of it. You guys were dressed up in your sweaters and dresses and stuff?
Yes.
Seasonally?
It was pretty fun.
Wow. Very nice.
It was pretty darn fun.
I went with something that I haven't seen, but am very intrigued by.
If you steal mine, I'm really going to get fucking pissed.
I don't believe you are talking about the possession of Joe Delaney.
No, I am not.
Who is in possession of Joel Delaney?
There's a whole supernatural city around us here. Spiritist churches, espiritismo seances, summoning the dead, bookeria, witchcraft.
We know all about Joel Delaney.
Joel, answer me. Are you there? Joel? You know how Joel is when his dark side's shown.
Tell me what happened.
You tried to attack a man, Joel.
Believe me, I don't remember any of that.
All of a sudden, here we have a case just like 3 others we had last summer. Where is Mr. Delaney? Where is he, Mrs. Benson?
Nora Benson, an affluent socialite living in Manhattan's Upper East Side, seems to be living the perfect life as a divorced mother of 2. After her mother's suicide, she becomes a mother figure for her younger brother, Joel Delaney. However, Joel begins to act strangely. He tries to attack a man and is taken to a mental asylum. He loses his free-spirited kindness in exchange for a turbulent personality. After the twin shields of her affluence and naivete have been broken down, Nora seeks the help of a spiritualist in an attempt to exorcise the spirit of a murderer they believe to be possessing Joel. But Joel turns on Nora and threatens her life and those of her children.
Well, that sounds fun.
It's a good time.
You think it is.
Well, who knows? Honestly,
Could be
I
a
watched
good
the
time.
trailer while I was driving my car here into the mountains. The roads are fine. Directed by a guy named Waris Hussein. It's got a Shirley MacLaine.
I actually do like Shirley.
In terms of endearment, the apartment, Steel Magnolias, I like the energy of this thing. I don't know if I enjoy it. It seems like it may have some cultural issues that may arise. The Spanish Harlem exorcism stuff.
I haven't seen it. I can't say that I am interested in it in the same way you are.
Well, I mean, you're not a big gritty New York 70s person.
I like Dirty Harry films.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Masculine toxicity at its finest.
Based on a book by Ramona Stewart. I like the idea of a serial killer possessing someone. That's a lot of fun. Kind of like in the film that we're talking about tonight, there's a little bit of... who was she possessed by?
Well,
We'll get into that.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the questions I'm going to ask in
We'll talk about that.
my rage.
Oh, you unplugged your headphones there. All right.
So angry I unplugged my headphones because I don't want to have to listen to anything else about this movie. But
Well, It came out kind of in the wake of that Exorcist possession craze of the early 70s. There is a 13-year-old boy that's shown fully naked in a sequence that is apparently pretty in bad taste as well.
Wait, what?
According to Roger Ebert, he wrote the final scenes in the beach house are in nauseatingly bad taste.
Oh, gross.
Boys forced to disrobe and eat dog food. Wow. Okay, so maybe pump the brakes, guys. I don't know if I can recommend this anymore, but I do know that it may be streaming for free on YouTube. So maybe check it out. What you got, Kelly?
So I've got a movie that's so obvious to discuss that it ties to my critique of the movie that we will be presenting this evening.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Once upon a time, a very shitty human made some interesting movies. And the very first English language movie he made was called Repulsion. Wonderful foreshadowing for the feelings we should all have about him as a human being.
This is Carol Ledoux. Young, beautiful, desirable. Men found her irresistible. Repulsion, a frightening film that takes the everyday world and distorts it, taking you inside the mind of a girl driven to insanity. No other film has ever shown with such intense reality the terrifying journey into madness.
I want to be with you all the time.
In the attractive body of this beautiful girl throbs the mind of a killer.
Roman Polanski. This was shot in London. It shares so many stylistic and plotline similarities with the movie that I almost feel like Scary of 61st should be called a remake.
It was an obvious reference in the
it
making
was
of this.
like super beyond a reference, I would say. So the subtext of Repulsion is all about sexual issues. Here's the quick summary from IMDb, though I think it goes a lot deeper than this. Sex-repulsed woman who disapproves of her sister's boyfriend sinks into depression and has horrific visions of rape and violence. Weird. Seems really similar. Also, it's a woman living in a big city, London instead of New York, who is living with her sister and they don't get along. Weird, shocking, kind of like what's going on here.
Roommates, yeah.
Who has very awkward social interactions. Strange. Blonde hair.
I have a feeling where you're going with the review this week.
Even looks similar. Like genuinely looks similar to the character that is at the center of tonight's film.
Well, you know what? Actually, that's interesting. I know that she used Roman Polanski as a direct reference for her filmmaking style of this film,
which is
also,
good because
I didn't think about really the parallels of his deviant past coming into play with the subject matter of her film. That's really interesting.
The fact that hasn't come up as she discusses him, I don't know, is like, at least in what I've seen, as she discusses him, is really bothersome to me.
I think if you knew Dasha, you would understand that she
just likes to piss people off,
she's
obviously.
a bit of
That's what she fucking does.
Yeah.
She's a little bit like a 4-year-old that way. So I would say what bothers me is it's almost idolizing one violent, predatory offender by criticizing another. Like, anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've really read that as a critique of the film.
Well,
yet.
You just fucking wait.
All right.
Okay.
Have you seen Repulsion?
A long time ago, and I
Yeah.
remember just thinking like, okay, this guy really likes to do raw, tilty camera angles and like
He goes
things
Dutch.
and things to look very almost home movie like rather than
Really? So this style of filmmaking does not scream handheld or like homemade.
The movie for
homemaking.
tonight was shot on 16 millimeter. I mean, that's just like the fucking.
Why you roll? Why?
It's just such a desperate. Look at how fucking cool we are. We're like the directors were in the 60s. Look at us.
They are cool.
We're fancy.
All right, close the fucking store. It's
Okay,
the holidays. We're done.
Anyhow, it's an interesting movie about somebody unraveling their sanity, and it has to do with the relationship between women. It has to do with sexual abuse. It has to do with the power of sex. It is as much as I fucking hate Polanski,
Yeah.
it also exhibits infinitely more depth than the film we are about to review. So with that, Byron,
Me?
you.
Before we lock up, I should say, the more I read about the possession of Joel Delaney, the more uncomfortable I am about this recommendation.
Oh yeah, are you going to say that like now because it's borderline child porn, you probably don't want to recommend it anymore?
Yeah, and apparently there's incest elements in this as
Sounds like a
well.
Byron serial corner to me.
Oh, who knows if that happened or not.
Murder, death, incest, children. Yep, it sounds like a Byron serial corner.
I'm just saying that it may or may not be a recommendation, but just like Polanski's Repulsion, it's just a theme of monsters today, I guess.
It is a theme. Monsters in front of the screen, monsters behind the screen.
All right, close the door. Holiday hours, okay? All right.
Holiday hours, screw that. You're working late. People need movies on the holidays.
No, that's okay. But speaking of movies, let's keep on talking about them. One in particular, as we review The Scary of 61st.
We hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
The Scary of 61st is an American psychosexual horror film directed by Dasha Nekrasova, written by Nekrasova and Madeline Quinn. They both star in this thing alongside Betsy Brown and Mark Rappaport. While out apartment hunting, college pals Noelle and Addie stumble upon the deal of a lifetime, a posh duplex on Manhattan's Upper East Side. But soon after moving in, a more sinister picture of the apartment emerges when a mysterious woman arrives and claims the property used to belong to the infamous and recently deceased Jeffrey Epstein. With this news, Noelle becomes obsessed with the visitor to the point of infatuation. As the pair plunges deeper into the conspiracies of the Epstein case, Addie falls into her own bizarre state, a pseudo-possession complete with inexplicable fits of age-regressed sexual mania. As they peel back on the strange occurrences, the truth reveals itself to be more twisted than they could have ever imagined. The Scary of 61st. It is the directorial debut of Dasha Nekrasova, who I've been following for a while. I saw her at South by Southwest when she was in a film called Wobble Palace, 2018, directed by Eugene Kotlyarenko. He directed a film that we covered last year called Spree that ended up pretty high on my list.
Much better than this one, yeah.
Okay, they're already there.
I mean, it wasn't great, but it was way
being a butthead already. She's a Belarusian-American actress. Belarusian. Host of a podcast called Red Scare that I think is fine. A lot of people like it.
Can I ask you a question about her? Because I don't follow her outside of Succession, obviously.
Okay, yeah. And
I know she loves to hold controversial opinions.
Yeah, she kind of...
You're going to think this is a joke, but this isn't a joke. Is she pro or anti-Epstein?
Anti-Epstein, yeah.
Okay.
She was actually, I believe, in episode 2 or 3 of TrueAnon, that anti-Epstein, anti-pedophile podcast that I made you listen.
Glad they got that out of the way early.
She, I believe, used to date Brace for a little bit. 8 years ago, she was in LA working as a waitress, a struggling actress, and here she is now on Succession and director star of a film called The Scary of 61st.
Yeah.
You doing okay over there?
Yep.
You're holding...
I'm just waiting until you give me the thumbs up that I can let it roll.
Well... Let me make sure. I gotta make sure that I get all this out before you start rolling.
I know. I'm patiently waiting.
It premiered at the 71st Berlin International Film Festival and got picked up by Shudder and something called Utopia as a distributor. Don't know anything about Madeline Quinn or Betsy Brown. Do you, really? The stars of this?
No, I was going to see if you did.
I don't.
I know Madeline Quinn helped write it.
Yeah.
She wasn't just the star. She helped write it, too.
Yeah. We open on this New York City apartment, Upper East Side. Have you experienced much of New York?
I experienced New York vicariously for hours a day.
Oh, yeah, a client. Okay.
The client that I work with for a lot of
but
time.
But they're not lower Upper East Side.
No, they're Upper East Side.
Are they?
Their Upper East Side is a really fancy.
Kind of nice, yeah.
Yeah, that's why this starts out
Where the
so weird.
brownstones are, yeah.
It's like it's strange that there's an apartment that they can afford on the Upper East Side, which is why they're okay looking past the weirdness of it, because it's like, whoa.
I feel like most
we never thought we'd live
apartments
in the Upper East Side.
Most apartments in New York have weird situations.
Not the
like
Upper
that.
East Side.
Well, that's probably true.
Yeah, Upper
They're
East Side
usually
is
nicer.
fancy the pantsy.
Well, this one, she has only access to her bedroom either by going through her roommate's bedroom or going out through the hall and then into the rest of the house.
Which is awkward.
It is awkward. One of my friends, Heather, has an apartment where the stairs open right up into her living room on the 3rd floor. So you can kind of just like walk in. I don't know if she's moved since then, but I remember that was an interesting layout. Yeah, but I've heard of much worse than that. So they get the place and they celebrate with some room temp White Claw, which they call very sophisticated. Well, one of them does. The girls here, Noelle and Addie, who do you relate more with at this point?
Oh, I relate with neither of them because the idea of living in New York and either being a bitch to another friend or suffering at the hands of a friend who is a raging bitch, I would really hope that I could avoid both of those situations.
What one's the bitch roommate here? Noelle?
Yes,
Who's
very
not
much
the actress.
so.
What does she do?
In real life?
Yeah. No, I mean, not as an act. Like, she's an actress, but like, what did Noelle do?
One of the many issues with this movie.
Okay, but Addie is an actress.
Right.
And she's a struggling actress. But
yeah,
they have a cool little gross out scene when they open up the fridge and it's got like a whole spiral cut ham with a rat on it. Your face is just, it's so funny. I just can't do it. You don't like the way this thing was shot.
No, keep going with the plot.
Oh my God. Well, I was just going to talk for a second. Like, okay. All right. We got some smudging. We're saying bye-bye to bad vibes. This is where we first see a little bit of the girl buzzing in late at night at the apartments. They see her from above and they say that she looks Jehovah's Witnessy, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah, I did smile briefly at that.
Night 1, Addie has some really bad dreams, but I like the way they shot this dream sequence. You, for some reason, have a grudge with the way this thing was shot.
It just is so derivative.
I guess I could see that. I'm just such a fan of that style, so I like to see it coming back. To me, it was very Alex Ross Perry, like kind of like bordering on mumble gore, mumble horror, but with that repulsion, that Roman Polanski 70s inspired slow pulse, like verging on dreamy kind of stuff. I think it was all really well lit, like in a way that was interesting.
Okay, I'll give you that the lighting was interesting at different times. I can concede that, I guess. I just feel like everything about this screamed trying too hard to me and very annoying. I was annoyed from like the first 30 seconds through the end. I was annoyed and uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable with what I think should or was intended to make me feel uncomfortable.
Sure.
But uncomfortable with like the very underlying existence of the movie.
I'm trying to think of an example of a film like this that relies heavily on the influences of that era in horror, like House of the Devil kind of has that feeling as well.
I like that movie, though.
Okay.
I like that movie.
What makes it different?
Because it did something interesting with it. It wasn't just a copycat that was poorly executed.
Sure.
It's kind of like in the world of music, right? Like if you play a cover...
And make it your own. Like my cover of the Cranberries' Dream that I posted on my Instagram today.
Oh, I actually like that song. I'll be interested to listen to it. Awesome. So you're feeling good today. So I would really like, if you're going to cover a song, in my opinion,
you make it your own. You cannot
either make it your own, or you have to be such a freaking expert musician that you can perfectly replicate the original, which is almost impossible.
But no one wants the replica.
Right?
I see what you're saying.
Right. And this was like a really shitty attempt to replicate without anything of its own, in my opinion. There was nothing interesting. There was no new spin.
I think the whole idea was the new thing. I mean, I talked about a film about a murderer possessing someone. This is a very specific cultural figure, like a monster of modern day. that's what made it interesting to me was...
Okay, but again, so this is where I'm going to get into what I mentioned a little bit ago, which is, and maybe she realized this, maybe she didn't. I have not seen any of it discussed. So I have to assume in the absence of discussion that it wasn't part of her intention because she doesn't seem shy about discussing things.
No, I've read several interviews with her about this.
She is supposedly providing a social commentary on one of the worst predatory villains of our generation,
possibly multiple generations,
by replicating the work of one of the worst predators of a previous generation. I think
Polanski
is not Epstein. You're right. He's terrible.
I don't know how many victims he had. We are aware of one.
Right. I mean, the other thing I could say is, like, who knows if it had happened 30 years later or 20 years later or whatever the time difference was, if more people would be known. But yes, I think it's pretty safe to say his crimes were not of the scale.
No, but still equally
but very
impactful.
Similar in terms of what kind of crimes and like what kind of a human they probably were. Okay?
Maybe we should get to, I don't know if I'm interrupting your point, but maybe we should get to like where that element comes in real quick. The Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
So the Jehovah's Witness-y type person comes back the next day, pretends to be a broker arriving with unfinished paperwork and says it won't take long, but comes in and sees the twin XL bed, which I like that. I like the writing. I like that. That's a really interesting detail to bring into this. Like,
well, but like,
while the girls are shopping for supplies for their new apartment, they're discussing like what size bed they have, and they have this kind of funny, almost mumblecore like conversation about how no one wants to fuck someone on a twin XL bed.
Right, which is funny. But before I get there, I'm already like, who the fuck are these girls?
Who are these girls?
Because they're like, what size was my bed? What the fuck do you mean? How do you not look at a bed?
And no,
like,
I mean, like,
are you a Martian? Did somebody just drop you into that apartment to look at it?
We're not young. You've told me this several times.
No, we aren't. But like, they aren't that young.
Well, maybe they're. I don't know. I don't live in that New York, LA mindset culture where you just like go from sublet to sublet and like throw out all your shit when you move.
If you do that, at that point, how the fuck do you not know?
I think people's priorities are different.
It was clear that these girls had gone to college, and how do you not know a twin bed versus a full bed versus a queen? That's just like, it's details like that it's I know you hate me making these comparisons, but it's like in Succession when the dad's yelling at Roman, like, how much is a milk? Right. Yeah. It's like, it's supposed to be about these average 20-somethings, but then the dialogue lends us to believe that they're fucking Martians.
But I think we're given the clue that they're privileged by the actress.
No, we're given the clue that one of them is.
Yes, yeah, but it is funny because it is Noelle's character that doesn't know the bed.
Bingo.
So
who is not the one that's supposed to be privileged.
But I like that scene, but it introduces a character, Addie's boyfriend, Greg, who I fucking hated the whole time. I think you were talking about bad acting. His acting is next level bad. Oh, but you're thinking it's maybe intentional, kind of like Greg from Secession, which is so funny that we keep talking about it.
He was just a D-bag. He was just annoying to me.
I thought he was...
but I thought he did a good job of playing that role.
Yeah, okay. Well, he'll come in a couple times. But next day, though, the broker... I don't know what we call her. The girl, I guess.
The girl, yeah, which, again, like, are you fucking kidding me?
Dasha Nekrasova's character arrives and...
Hey, you know what'd be really cool? What would be really cool is if we just... call my character the girl.
Was she called the girl in the credits? Like, because on IMDb she had no name. It wasn't listed as the girl or anything.
It was listed as the girl in the credits.
Right. Well, she sees a big bloody stain on this twin XL mattress and gets sick because she knows something that the girls don't know about this place. Something extremely sinister happened in Noelle's room. Epstein owned the apartments and they don't know what happened in the bed, but obviously something very, very bad.
Again, just throwing this out there. Unless the intention is for us to have zero respect for the girl from moment one. Okay, so supposedly this girl has been investigating Epstein's stuff.
And the high-profile rapes in his network.
Right, and has a suitcase full
documents.
Of horrific, disturbing shit. But she gets one glimpse at a dried blood stain on a mattress and is so overcome
that she
has to throw up. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Well, oh my God.
We don't know how many of these places that she's investigated in person, though. She knows so much, and to see it in person might be shocking.
Well, she didn't sell it.
Okay, well, she vomited in a bathroom, and she came there for the truth.
Okay, let me ask you another question about Dosh.
Tell me.
Is she pro or anti-Pizzagate?
I mean, she's obviously anti-Pizzagate.
Okay, which is interesting because her character in this movie
brings it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and to
I
me,
think that there's a line of ironic belief in some topics in that circle. They're pretty flippant about stuff like the Clinton body counts and like Bush being involved in 9/11. They do believe in some of these conspiracies, and obviously they believe in conspiracies involving and I'm talking outside of the movie. I'm talking about her podcast. Red
yeah, I mean
Scare.
that's when I'm trying to get more context for it, because the way this is done, it would be easier for me to swallow if this was supposed to be making fun of people who believed that shit. But I don't think that's what's going on.
No, it isn't. It isn't for the most part.
And again, like, I think there is very little that you could do that's more disrespectful than associating that shit with the victims of Epstein. What he did to people was very real. Pizzagate is not real. And when you throw all of it into one ball, that's really troubling to me. Like, that really bothers me. That really bothers me. And I think that it is coming from a position of gross negligence and gross privilege and thinking that it's cute and funny, and it kind of makes me want to stab her in the fucking throat.
It's a hard line to walk the way that they've covered content, the same way like podcasters like Last Podcast on the Left have evolved in how they cover topics. I think in maybe the original 30, 50 episodes, they were a little bit more careless in how they approach things.
Yep.
And in watching, I hate that I keep talking about things that are completely irrelevant from this, but like we've talked about on the Maxwell episode that we just did, talked about TrueAnon's coverage of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is deadly serious the way they're covering it.
Respectful.
But I mean, they brand their podcast as the only non-pedophile podcast. Like, it's like a joke, or it started out as a dark interest.
Right, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but everything I understand about the Red Scare and Dasha is actually leaning into the knowledge that it isn't kind to do this. Like, the idea that she's pro-anorexia, or the idea it's like taking controversial stances, like a rebellious,
I wouldn't say she's straight up pro-anorexia.
Prefrontal lobe development teenager. Like, I'm gonna just do this because it's controversial.
Yeah.
And like, I get the sense that it's not, I don't think she's ignorant.
No, I don't think so.
I think that she knows that that's what she's doing, and she's maybe a sociopath. I don't know. Like, she doesn't care, and she thinks that it's part of her brand and part of her coolness to lean into that.
I think she's doing a very good job of it, because she's kind of having a moment.
Yeah, I know.
She really is.
Can we talk about how anybody who has a moment in our society, we may not want to assume that they are worthy of any type of attention? I mean, Kardashians. Think about the humans that consume media.
I mean,
attention.
I see what you're saying. This is in a bit of a different world than those things. This is more art than pop culture, I guess.
Or maybe she just thinks that of herself.
Well, I'm on the side of I enjoyed this quite a bit.
I know.
It's unfortunate.
I know.
Like I'm
did.
all for being critical. Well, some people didn't. I mean,
you aren't the only one who enjoyed it, though.
No, absolutely. But I mean, I've read very critical reviews of this as well, and I agree with most of them. For me, this is just pure aesthetic enjoyment, and I'm like, you had dialogue problems with this in performance problems. To me, it was all it felt very similar to like more well-produced mumblecore stuff. That's some of my favorite filmmaking.
So you know what I kind of want to do as a follow-up to this? So there's a person I work with who is 22.
Okay.
Lives in New York, shares apartments with friends, and
these are
also is very, very, very educated about this issue because bleep this. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I want to know if she feels like the tone is as wildly off and unrealistic of that subset of humans as I think it is.
Let's get into their investigation of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. I really liked the research montage, the way that they were
that they were hopped up on Vyvanse, which is just like
Yeah, they were on Vyvanse.
the socially acceptable Adderall abuse, I guess.
I mean, I was
the
curious.
same thing.
I looked it up. I was
Yes, I know
this
people that
seems
take
kinda-
Vyvanse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I like the way they shot that. They showed the computer screen, which is an interesting break if they were leaning into just mimicking the Polanski 70s film style to break into these shots that were like just a screen. I thought that was really cool. And it kind of reminds me of Eugene's work that Dasha's worked with before.
Okay. All right.
Like,
I mean,
remember in Spree, there was like elements of computer conversation popping up.
Which was
in
fun.
Wobble Palace, he used actual iPhone screens, like screen capture.
that was just so much more innovative in my mind.
Well, I like that she brought that to here, but they're showing like the Island of Sin, Pedophile Island, the drone footage clips that were shown, talking about the story of a girl trying to swim away from the island and Ghislaine Maxwell chasing her with a jet ski, which I didn't have time to check if that story was corroborated at all. But
It seems I have not found evidentiary support of that story,
Sure.
but who knows? The trial's
they talk
underway.
about the gazebo, which has been a huge point that everyone's trying to dig into. They're like, what's in the gazebo? It came out in court a couple days ago that it was just a library, but a lot of people say it was like almost like a sacrificial area, or there was a piano in there, which is interesting. Comes into play. And also the way that Pedophile Island, the painting pattern of everything, I like the blue and white stripes was really interesting. I like that. I think that was really cool as someone who's been interested in the Jeffrey Epstein case. It was a treat for me.
Okay. I mean, I guess I could say that was the part of the movie I hated the least too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, them talking about Jeffrey Epstein's deposition where he came out and talked about his egg-shaped penis, and then he cut the deposition short after that. That was pretty short because of his short penis. I thought that was kind of, it was, I don't know. I like the investigation montage scene, and it seems like you didn't hate it.
I mean, it was less dumb than the rest of it. It was less annoying. I really don't like those two characters. So like it would have been better if I wouldn't have had to listen to those two characters as I was watching it. But yes, I agree that stuff was at least interesting. And again, like,
so why didn't you like Noelle?
She's a bitch. She's horrifically cold and cruel to her roommate at every turn.
But when did that start? That started after...
No, that started at the very beginning of the movie. In the first scene. She didn't give a fuck. She was really rude and really mean. And I'm very sensitive to that. I thought that she was...
I was completely oblivious to that.
Oh, think about when her roommate comes home and she and the girl are sitting on the couch investigating.
And she wants to do a self-tape, and she's like, why don't you go to your boyfriend's house, right? Is that
she's mean. She is, again, like a sociopath. She's so selfish. Also, I have no idea what she does.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. The tightness of their relationship was never really established.
So to me, it's one of two things. Either they're really good friends and that's why they're living together, or they're acquaintances and that's why they're living together. In either instance, why are you such a bitch to her?
It was kind of weird.
And again, like the coolness of being a bitch, I'm not
thrilled with that. Addie leaves the apartment at that point and goes over to Greg's, and that's where he's sitting on his bed playing that sex dating game. Japanese anime girls with the big old honkers, you know? Those boobs.
Lots of boobs.
Yeah, but I don't like Greg. I think he's there for comic relief.
See, and you know what I would say? I would say Greg is a statement about males of that age in the same way that Noelle and the girl are statements about girls of that age.
Sure.
And I think that both of them are selling 20-somethings real short.
I don't relate to his character, his like flippant neglect of his
he's dumb and
partner.
Which I think is the theme that we're supposed to see. This is what we're seeing for Addie. In her life, everybody is like that to her. Her
She obviously has a
roommate,
bad relationship with her parents because they're wealthy and she
apparently
won't
her
ask
dad was a pedophile.
Oh.
Did you miss that?
I did.
Yeah, so when the girl is talking to Noelle about, she's like, what's the deal with her roommate? I'm like, God.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Her dad's like rich and he's like a pedophile or something.
Oh,
and so
okay.
like she doesn't talk to him. Like, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, the vocal fray of Dasha, everything just kind of blurs together after a while. I will be a little critical of her.
It's so hard to listen to.
That's why I can't do her podcast. It's not for me.
Oh my God.
No, I did miss that. I watched this last night in bed while taking notes on my phone. So, and you see, I had to print out 6 pages of notes because you told me this is the worst movie you'd ever seen. So I was like, well,
It was real. I hated it a lot.
Yeah.
At this point, Addie wakes up in the middle of the night and is obviously like sleepwalking, we think maybe at first, but then it would appear that she's possessed by some weird thing.
I like this scene. She's walking down the New York streets in her socks. She's got the jerky rolling her head around.
So it's creepy. It's very creepy. And I do think that Addie is the exception to this movie in terms of acting skills. As I mentioned briefly in one of our transitions, Byron, it's like she got lost on the way to an audition for a real movie.
Oh, right.
And like somehow ended up here. And
Dasha's on one of the most popular TV programs in America.
You and I both know that her role is
it's pretty
minuscule.
It's pretty muted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so far, I think she's kind of taken off, apparently. I'm not caught up in season 3, but I know she's got some standout moments.
You can wait and see.
I will.
So that is interesting. And again, like the stuff that happens that she acts.
The physical acting
is really impressive.
Well, she shows up at Epstein's townhouse, which I believe was actually shot in front of the Epstein townhouse, which I love.
Which I think Dasha was just really excited for everybody to look at that and go, oh my gosh, look at how bold she is.
Well, it's very much like a guerrilla shot film.
It isn't. It's not a guerrilla shot film. The fucking Vice people going into North Korea is a guerrilla shot film. This is not a guerrilla shot film.
Apparently the production was real run and gun and like write and shoot as you go kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll take Borat.
Well, all right. It's a pretty different thing than a Sacha Baron Cohen comedy flick, but
which was much more appropriate about its social commentary.
Betsy Brown flicking her bean in front of the townhouse. Pretty
fucking
wild
uncomfortable
scene.
to watch.
Very uncomfortable.
But
it's
see,
very much like a possession film of the 70s. It's got those witchy vibes. It was fun.
But so this is when I start falling down this, okay, what I'm watching really just freaked me out. But then the scenes with her and whatever that phrase was that I thought was well put, something about like really creepy sexual regression antics. Like,
we'll get there because simultaneously there's a really cool scene going on with the girls and they're in their Vyvanse
trance.
State. They're doing the kneel with force sheet noose thing from Jeffrey Epstein's
but again,
suicide.
like I don't think that's a cool scene. I think it's like
I think Dasha looked like she was really committing to that. I liked the way. I think it was really cool. Both of those shots kind of happening in tandem. The townhouse and the kneel and
I think it was really juvenile and again like a really disrespectful way to look at people who are actually trying to investigate what happened here.
I don't think that her concern is ever being respectful.
Yeah, but when you're dealing with an issue that actually impacted the lives of so many women and you're not being respectful, then fuck you.
It's tough because it's a movie. It's made to entertain.
No, it's made to comment on things. Yeah, because that's what she does.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it involves subject matter that's real, so it's complicated.
Yeah, I mean, even if she would have done this, because she could have very easily just put a different name on it, right?
She
and made it like
base this around the concept of a high power.
And to me, that makes all the difference in the world.
I mean, there's literal flashes of Jeffrey Epstein's face in this.
Yeah. And the fact that she's decided to tether it to a very real, terrifying thing,
Well, Noelle and the girl really hit it off that night. Things get hot and heavy.
Which, who knows if they actually hit it off? Like, they're just fucking awful, bored, annoying, dumb representations of women. And I don't like either of them.
Okay. Addie comes home in the window. And the next morning, she has really awful sex with Greg.
Where it becomes very clear that whatever is possessing her is not just possessing her when she's walking down the street in the middle of the night, but is like bouncing in and out like a more standard possession
baby
situation.
Voice giggling and like fuck me like I'm 13 demon voice. That was pretty
which again, like I started getting confused because I'm like, okay, so she's possessed by one of the victims. Where the fuck did that demon voice come from? Like, was the victim a demon? Like, what are we supposed to take from that?
That is confusing, and that's why earlier when I was asking, like, who did she get possessed by? I kind of agree. I don't know. And I mean, in the end of this, when something happens, the flash of Jeffrey Epstein's face implies that maybe it was a demon of Jeffrey Epstein,
or maybe he was a demon, or he was possessed by a demon.
But now he never, to my knowledge, asked to be fucked like a 13-year-old, like you're on a plane, like the Lolita Express, the 727.
Yeah. Which, like, I got that, but like that's so heavy-handed.
It was just kind of a jumble of facts, and I agree, it wasn't the clearest thing. But
I feel like I'm wearing you down. I can see it on your face.
I'm getting a little distraught.
Yeah, I'm wearing you down.
Well,
let's keep rolling. Give me another 10 minutes before we wrap it up, and I will have you fucking over this movie.
Prince Andrew spoon. That's kind of fun. They bring in the Prince Andrew stuff.
Which, like, whatever. Okay, yeah, obviously Prince Andrew was friends with Epstein. Obviously, he was a fucking bad person, too.
Like, yeah, he was one of the bad ones. But, I mean, yeah, so no.
Do we really have to have, like, a bloody masturbation montage with somebody pretending to be 13? Because I really didn't need that.
That happened after Noelle and the girl go to the townhouse during the daytime. They steal the mail and they drink more pills. They say this line, which I really enjoyed the writing of this. There we go. When Dasha says, the girl says, "This is our 9/11. It's a total paradigm shift." It opened her eyes to pedophilic corruption. I like that. And they used it in the trailer. Like, it was a really effective line. I liked it. But they go back home. I guess back home at the same time, Addie, like you said, is rolling around kissing pictures of magazines and book covers with the royals and Prince
like
Andrew.
Crossing out Prince Andrew's wife and like
rubbing the pictures on her vagina. It's very
but it's
creepy. It's effective.
Sure, it's effective in being creepy, but then it's I don't know, like it loses its effectiveness really quickly and just becomes super fucking annoying. Like what it set out to accomplish, it did so in like the first 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's kind of on the edge of an art film, and then it kind of crossed over.
Well, yeah, and not even like into something pornographic. Like that's not even my argument.
It was a pretty...
But it's the idea that they dedicated so much of the movie. Like this movie felt too long, and it wasn't even an hour and a half long. Like
it was actually an hour and 18 minutes.
Yeah, it felt 30 minutes too long to me. Because I felt like there was so much fluff where it's like, okay, you accomplished the goal of that. You do not need to, in what I feel is like almost exploiting what people really went through.
You can't approach... Well, see, this is tough because it's impossible to approach it just as a film considering what it's based on and considering how it just straight out tells you what it's based on. I will agree, it kind of lost me at a couple points, including the...
entire third act?
Parts of the second, too. Their conversation about how Jeffrey Epstein's properties are 5 blocks apart. And
again, like it's making...
The girl goes, 5 points. There's 5 points in a pentagram.
Right.
So and I was like, wait a second. What are we doing? Are we drawing points between the property and it forms a pentagram? That can't be because we're talking about a straight fucking line.
It makes no sense and it's stupid.
Not a straight line, but a line nonetheless.
It's stupid.
I didn't like that part. The psychic scene is pretty cool. I like the way they framed it and lit it. It looked really nice.
I mean, it reminded me of like... What's that? Slugworth and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
He's kind of a Slugworth type character. I'll give you that. It wasn't just a psychic place. It was an apothecary.
A magic apothecary.
I like him. I think he was fun. He was
probably
nice little moment.
He was probably one of the more well-developed characters in the movie. Yes, I agree.
And it gives us something that we take with us to the third act. It was good screenwriting.
Mm-hmm. You can turn the heat off if you don't like the noise.
I'm going to turn it off. Do you have any obsidian, Kelly?
I don't know, maybe.
For protection, of course. They're finding loose tarot cards in the apartment, and he's saying that the place is doomed, the roommate's doomed, and they need to leave. So he gives them some obsidian and kicks them out.
And thank fucking God he was right.
Addie's regression continues. They have a really weird tea time with baby talking. I like that anglophilia is one thing, but pedophilia... I thought that was a fun line. Yeah, okay, bad vibes. What kind of cuck bootlicker is into the Royals? Just a little taste of the... I
mean, I hate the Royals. I'm not into the Royals, but...
Addie topless smashing citrus fruit with her feet like she's a grape stomper making wine.
Which was so... what?
I think that might be a reference point that even I'm missing. I'm pretty unsure about what that is. But I liked the way it looked, not just the boobs part, of course, but like the way Addie's physicality, Betsy Brown's acting in those scenes was really good. Very, very committed, unsettling.
I agree. I'm excited to watch her do something real and valuable because I think she's going to be a great actress.
But yeah, this scene, I mean, collecting her period blood in a cup at an altar of Prince Andrew.
Like, it just, at that point... Everything is so shock. It's like a movie that has like 100 jump scares, just one after the other. It's like after the first 3, you're like,
come on, guys.
Okay, I'm fucking
What are
over
we
it.
doing?
Like, can we do something else? Like,
well, to me, this was an escalation of intensity, and I liked it.
I mean, okay.
But when you lose the plot, or the plot is too obvious, I can see how that could be a problem.
Yeah, until the plot becomes completely nonsensical.
Mm-hmm. The next day, the girls go investigate outside of the prison that Epstein did or didn't kill himself at.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing these landmarks.
I mean, I guess. I don't know that.
But Addie's there too. She's dressed in a 90s preteen outfit and has her arms outstretched towards the building in almost like a ritualistic moment.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
But
again,
then a moment that you absolutely hate.
Oh my God. Why do they make their Ghislaine Maxwell look like Joey Ramone in drag?
Well, I don't know about that, but that was Dasha's co-host from the Red Scare podcast, Anna.
Well, they did her no favors.
They could have done better. And you know what? Actually, I think in an interview with Filmmaker Magazine that I was reading, Dasha, that was one of the things that she wished that she would have had the budget to do. They did all their own wardrobe and makeup, and she admits that she could have looked better in moments. Of course, she talks about herself first, but also I think that implies that the whole thing could have looked better. Continuity problems with things like blood and wardrobe and stuff like that, but that just shows that this was like a run and gun, low budget operation, even though it was shot on film. You're just slowly nodding, blinking slowly too over there.
You know.
You didn't like the Ghislaine Maxwell thing.
Nope.
They bring up MK Ultra a little bit, which is fun.
Without any knowledgeable. Yeah, that just fucking pissed me off too.
Things start just kind of falling a little bit. We're entering the third act. There's a diner fight where Ghislaine Maxwell is there as well. Mm-hmm. Is she supposed to be Ghislaine Maxwell, or is she supposed to be a...
I don't know. If Dasha were sitting at this table right now, she would probably say to you, well, that's part of the art. Okay. You're supposed to decide. Which is it? I don't know. Which is it?
I don't think she would talk to me.
She probably wouldn't, but she would hold the exact same facial expression the entire time, regardless.
Well, she's credited as the Ghislaine Maxwell doppelganger, so I don't know exactly what that
what the
means.
fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Joey Ramone is what it means.
I guess that's the third act. We don't really need to talk about the specifics of it, because this last sequence is pretty intense. Do you have any thoughts about it, though?
Part of me wants to give my thoughts before you, because I want to really put a nail in the coffin and just see how low I can get your score to fall, because I'm pretty sure if we would have talked about this at the beginning, I think your score would have been at least 1 point higher than what it's going to be right now.
1 full point, yeah.
Maybe 2, and I'd like to see if I can push it any further.
The third act, though, like what?
Oh, yeah, okay. Dead giveaways.
All right. You just want to shout dead giveaways?
Yes.
All right, I'll let you do it.
This is the point in the show where we spoil things about the movie that we've been reviewing tonight. If you haven't watched this movie yet, I suggest you pause now and watch the whole movie and then come back to this point in the review when you've finished it.
I'm like a Dan Rather. Is that what you're...
Spoilers. Dasha comes back because she and Noelle got in a fight and she's trying to track down Noelle. So she goes to the apartment. She finds Addie in the basement.
Addie's made a mess upstairs first.
Made a big mess upstairs. There's blood everywhere. She goes downstairs. They get in a fight. Addie kills her. Then Noelle comes home and kills Addie.
Whoa. You're missing the whole thing. Addie attacks the girl. The girl falls unconscious. Then Noelle stabs to death Addie in a very, very fun scene. A lot of blood.
I mean, I guess.
Very frenzied.
It was fun
murder.
to watch them all start to die.
And then she goes upstairs. Very odd.
Actually, no, I thought she was a really good actress. I didn't like it when she died.
Well, okay. I like this moment. Kind of very hallucinatory, very red. But then she goes upstairs. The piano that was from the beginning, we skipped that moment. It was supposed to be broken. Someone's playing it. Who was that?
I think...
Was that the man from the
beginning?
Oh, the realtor.
I think it was the realtor from the beginning.
Okay, see, I missed that because he was a little bit too dapper, and I was like, wait, what?
Which would make sense why they got the apartment for like nothing.
Okay, so that makes more sense to me because I thought it was the magic man for a second from the apothecary, and I was like, I'm fucking lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The realtor makes sense. Doesn't change anything with the movie though, because still what?
Yep.
So Noelle's been in on it the whole time?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, or was the demon just jumping from one to the next and like...
Yeah, is this some sort of fire walk with me type situation?
Yep. Don't fucking connect that to this.
All right.
Do not do that.
But yeah, this is where maybe the movie should have ended, but it would have been too short. So the girl ends up coming to seeing the events that happened while she was unconscious, loses her mind, runs over to find Greg and says that
because that's the best thing you should do in this situation.
Well, yeah, run to
find the completely useless male figure in the movie
that you've met one time.
That you've met once.
Did they know where he worked?
Because you just watch people die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like,
go tell him
definitely
that his
go
girlfriend's
tell him.
dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the running sequence though. It looked nice, running through the mean streets of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool.
Okay.
But why? There's no real reason for this entire sequence to happen, other than to, I guess, prove that maybe she is crazy. Because when she brings Greg back, everything has already been cleaned up. All the basement that looked like Little St. James is now painted white, and there's no blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we forgot to say that she bashed her head with obsidian. That was kind of fun.
Right, because it was supposed to be what was protecting them.
Yeah. There's a letter on the piano.
Yeah, do you know the reference with the letter?
It's from Eyes Wide Shut, which is one of your favorite movies.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of Kubrick, and apparently Dasha is too.
Yeah. The difference is I'm not fucking dumb enough to think that I could make a movie like Kubrick.
Give up your inquiries, which are completely useless, and consider these words a second warning. We hope for your own good this will be sufficient. So, 6 pages. All right.
Here's the thing. The end, I'm going to choose to see in a good light.
Oh.
Because the one interesting thing, I have no idea if this is what she intended, but I read somewhere where somebody hypothesized this, and I was like, you know what? You're probably smarter than Dasha, but I'm going to pretend like that was her idea.
What is it? Tell me.
That because the letter is the exact same letter as Eyes Wide Shut, even though I think in the realm of reality, she was probably just, again, copying the work of somebody else and not even bothering to riff on it or make it her own, but just like copying it because, yeah. But maybe in a parallel universe, what Dasha intended to do was to say this whole movie actually existed in the same world as Eyes Wide Shut.
Same universe, 20 years after.
Right. And therefore, the whole Epstein thing was part of the Eyes Wide Shut conspiracy. And because Kubrick has, among conspiracy theorists, supposedly created movies about real life conspiracies.
Yeah.
Maybe what he was doing in Eyes Wide Shut was the very front end of what has now spiraled into Epstein and probably more than we'll ever know, Prince Andrew and whatnot.
You think this was his secret disclosure of
and
bad things that were happening?
Right. So I'm just saying, like, maybe in a parallel universe, that's what Dasha was intending to say. So if so, that would have been a cool wrap up to it. Honestly, because I'm not as eloquent as other people, I think the best thing I can do here is to provide some words from other people.
Oh, fuck. You're more prepared than me, and I'm very uncomfortable.
About this movie.
Uh-oh.
Okay? There's no secret to the fact that I don't like this movie.
Wait, what?
It all starts for me with the title. It is a really fucking dumb title.
I don't know why I kind of like it.
Tell me why you like it.
Well, they're talking about the scary part of 61st Avenue.
No. You need a noun.
The scary?
Scary doesn't function
it is an
as a
adjective,
noun.
Yeah. Well, unless something is scary, is that still? Yeah.
Oh my God, so frustrating I mean, everything about this. Literally everything about this movie, except for maybe my parallel universe. Maybe that's what was intended at the end.
What if it was like the fright of Flight 43?
Fright is a thing.
The scary. What is scary? It would be the scary.
No.
The scare would be the scary, right?
You can have a fright.
Would the scare part of something be called the scary?
I do not believe so.
It might actually work, though. I like it.
I think she was probably just giving the middle finger to grammar the same way she likes to give the middle finger to everything because she is so Cool. Oh my God.
She's edgy. There is an F slur in this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so here's some really good words about this movie. A shallow provocation. I think that's the best concise one. I think that's brilliant.
All right.
Very true.
Well, here we go.
The Scary of 61st cuts, but not very deeply. It's all blade, no handle. A prankish flesh wound of a thriller. I think that's generous, actually. The Scary of 61st sprinkles a few funny lines and some striking images across its 81-minute running time, but it's dispiritingly shaggy for such a short movie. Now, those were the nice ones. Here we go.
No, come on.
It's not scary and it's not funny. It's just a thing that's happening on the screen. We can only hope that whatever Nekrasova decides to do next, she does it with something other than a bored smirk.
Well, that's not going to happen. That's her brand.
Which, maybe she should dig a little bit deeper.
I'm okay with it. I like it. Charming.
There are films that are bad. There are films that are so bad they're good. Then there are films like The Scary of 61st, which, in their ill-conceived irony, breeze straight past so bad it's good to previously unmined depths of repugnance.
Okay, so Kelly, what do you give it? You don't need to read anyone else's reviews about this. I get it.
This movie was about a subject I'm fascinated by.
Coop's just walking by the mic.
It was a genre I love, horror films, and it was made and written by females.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I wasn't the target audience, I don't know who the fuck was.
Well, you're not really...
But this movie felt like an insult to all three of those things about me. It felt like an insult to the fact that I'm interested in conspiracies. It felt like an insult to the fact that I like horror movies. And it felt like an insult to the fact that I am a female. And the characters in this movie seemed like fucking Martians to me because they do not represent anything about what I consider to be strengths of our side of the human race. This movie reminds me of an annoying 13-year-old girl who hasn't quite grown up and you don't want to hold it against her. But the issue here is it's made by somebody whose frontal lobe is supposedly fully developed at this point. So I give The Scary of 61st 3.2 brown tweed suits in case you didn't get that I was trying to make this look like a movie from the 60s. And the only reason I'm giving it 3.2 is because of this lovely idea about what the end could have meant that was written by somebody on Reddit, and I hope that maybe the thought crossed somebody's mind who was working on the movie, but I kind of doubt it.
All right. Well, this is one I probably should have pre-written.
Yeah, you should have. I should have made you give your score ahead of time.
I don't think, as a directorial debut, I think it's always bold to shoot with film. I really like that. I love the way this film looks, and I love the subject matter. I like that they brought so much of that in. I think that if you're coming from an outside...
You and I could do that portion of the movie. You and I could have done in an afternoon.
Well, I don't know about that.
I do.
She's an authority.
I know your production skills.
Well, no, but I know, but she's an authority on Epstein. She's been following this thing since it broke.
That doesn't mean she's an authority. Clearly, she has a subpar intellect.
I don't know. Come on now. That's not very fair.
I mean...
I really liked the dialogue. It was obviously self-aware.
I don't think
it was.
I don't think it was. I think that was one of the biggest problems, but that's okay.
If you believe that that's the way normal human beings act to each other, I think it was more leaning into the comedy of the interactions between the roommates, even though I feel like it wasn't very well established. And Betsy Brown's performance was amazing.
She was incredible.
Possession scenes were great, and I think that was it was shot and handled really well. It was very unsettling.
She was great.
I think what this thing lacks in coherence, she makes up with confidence. Obviously, some people see through this, but I think as an aesthetic feature film about the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy, I really did enjoy it. I wish the third act didn't fall apart, but from what I know about this film, she was almost writing it in real time, which may not be the best way to approach something like this because there was no landing stuck. I was left pretty confused about most of it, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I mean, for those reasons, though, I can't give it more than 5.6 cups of juice cocktail.
So much for top 3 films of the year.
I
fucking broke it. I convinced you.
No, it's fine.
I won.
You didn't win anything, but I do want to know what you guys think about this film at home. I am beaten down now.
Okay, so here's some really fun questions that I want to throw out there. Again, I obviously read a lot of Reddit threads about this. So some interesting questions on a Reddit thread.
Well,
how does Greg live alone? He works in a copy center.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Why is the soul/spirit of an innocent 13-year-old rape victim totally demonic?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Why Christmas time?
Yeah. It didn't feel very Christmassy, but you know what I found from the time I've spent in New York? I've been in New York for 2 Christmases, and it is surprisingly snowless that time of year.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's pretty nice, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Are those the questions you had?
Well, a couple of the other questions I think I actually know the answers
Okay,
for.
well, I want to know what y'all think about this. It's got a limited theatrical right now, but it's coming to Shudder soon. Let us know what you think about this film. Reach out to us on social media at Frightday on Twitter and Instagram. Comment below this episode in the show notes at frightday.com or send us an email, contact@frightday.com. We got the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Frightday. If we want to have a wider conversation about this film, which I imagine seems like we probably should.
Yeah.
Or in the Discord server, discord.frightday.com. Maybe Byron's Brain channel, where we talk about this kind of fucking gnarly shit all the time, but only in a non-fictionalized versions. But if you like our show and want to help us make it even better, grab something spooky at shop.frightday.com. And we may be filled by Spring Hill Jack Coffee, but it's the members of the Frightday Society who keep us... I get what? What does it keep us?
Keep us fueled with enough passion to convince Byron how bad a movie was?
I didn't say it was a bad movie. I didn't look the third act. But,
were you going to give it above a 9 before we started?
No, I don't give 9s.
You were going to give it
I
above
think
an
the only
8.
9 I've ever given was It Follows, probably. Maybe Us. Maybe Get Out. Maybe probably Hereditary. You want an extra episode each week? That's a possibility when you join the Frightday Society at cult.frightday.com or patreon.com/frightday. That show's called Behind the Screams. You also get bonus episodes of Captain Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies, Byron's Serial Corner, The Writer's Room, Toast to Toast PM with Wine Kelly, Cinema Autopsy. If you're wondering why there's not the first 10 episodes in the feed... Whoa, it's because they're at cult.frightday.com. You also get 15% off everything at shop.frightday.com, as well as members only items. I'd like to welcome a couple people to the FDS. Shannon K.
Hi, Shannon.
Paid for the whole dang year. Shannon, I need you to stand in front of whatever jail it is in Manhattan.
No. What?
Raise your arms like a scary person towards it?
No, don't do that. Don't do anything having to do with this movie. I want you to tell me what the 3 best episodes of Ghost Adventures have been, because we're going to be talking about its creator.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up pretty soon here, yeah.
So top 3 Ghost Adventures episodes.
All right. So
it's a lot of content to review. Sorry.
Or just raise your hands towards the Metropolitan Correctional Center. That'd be cool, too. I'd like to also welcome and initiate someone who bumped their pledge up.
Oh, grazie.
Martha O.N.
Martha, thank you very, very much. It's
Yes,
a very
thank
lovely
you so
Christmas
much.
present
Really
to
appreciate
us.
it, yeah.
Because you've been around and you're upping, I would say...
I love a tropical fruit cocktail. Don't make it with your feet, though.
Give me your best tropical fruit cocktail drink
right,
recipe.
there
Because
we go.
we are coming into the darkest days of winter, and it becomes really depressing around here. And sometimes having a really sunshiny reminder of better days.
Yeah, nicely.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen to Kokomo.
I think about Little St. James Island.
Probably not.
All right. Okay. Wow. You guys, think this is the last time we're going to be talking here until the new year, episode 300, which is pretty crazy. We're going to be reviewing the top films of the year. We're going to be answering some questions. We might be reviewing a classic horror film. But yeah, in the time in between, you're going to be hearing glimpses of Camp Frightday, which of course was a great time.
Yeah.
Everything went very well.
Yeah.
Hopefully recorded. That could be confusing.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be a bad thing, but I know that it went well and everything's fine. But yeah.
Of course it did. Even if we didn't record it and then we just had to have like Cooper snoring for 4 hours, it would be better than the movie we watched for this week. So
I just want to say, before the last episode, I guess since this is the last episode of the year, thank you guys so much.
We love you all.
You're the best.
You are the
I
best.
hope you have an incredible holiday season. If you're looking for more of us talking in the present, there will be Behind the Screams episodes happening, so you can go to cult.frightday.com once again. But Kelly, until then, Where are you going to be?
I am going to be researching some really uplifting predictions for the new year.
Good.
Other than that, wrapping a lot of presents, watching Succession a lot.
Come on. Don't rewatch it again. Watch something new.
No, I can't. It's like I'm addicted to it. At Kelly Frightday on Twitter, kelly@frightday.com. Email me.
And I'm at Byron McKoy on Twitter and Instagram. Byron@frightday.com is my email address. And until next Frightday and next year, I'm Byron.
I'm Kelly.
Stay scary on the 61st. You've been listening to an Audio Wool original, produced by Byron McKoy. Theme music provided by Cemeteries. For more programs like this, visit audiowool.co.